Texas Republicans just got served a massive legal defeat. A federal 3-judge panel has blocked their 2025 congressional redistricting map for racially gerrymandering Black and Hispanic communities. Now, this isn't just about fair elections, obviously. This is about the Republican Party's systematic attempt to silence minority voters. And you know what they're doing? They're going to take it straight to the Supreme Court, because of course they will. Now, here's what happened. After a 9-day hearing in El Paso, a federal 3-judge panel ruled that Texas's new congressional redistricting maps violated the Voting Rights Act, which, yes, still exists, despite the fact that the Supreme Court has been trying to water it down. The Republican Party has been trying to water it down. Now, the court found that the Republican legislatures had intentionally diluted Black and Hispanic voting power to maintain their gerrymandered advantages. So, for example, the new Precinct 3, which is now concentrated in the northern, part of the county, diminished the share of Black and Latino voters by about 28%. You see the new, the old map, the existing map and the proposed map here. And in the other 3 districts under these new maps, the Black and Latino segment of the population is no greater than 35%. Okay? So think about that. Texas Republicans passed this map knowing full well, obviously, that it was designed to suppress minority voters' representation. Now, they held a 9-day hearing where civil rights groups like MALDEF had proved systematic racial discrimination in this redistricting plan. And what did the courts find? That the Republican Party's intent was clear. We're doing racial gerrymandering in order to keep our power. But here's where it gets even more outrageous, right? So the court had ordered Texas to revert to their 2021 redistricting map. So not only was the 2025 map found to be illegally racist, but candidates now have to file for elections based on districts that were already gerrymandered years ago. I mean, it's not like that previous map was all that much better. This is the chaos that Republican redistricting creates. Consistent legal battles that, of course, will end up disrupting the democratic process. Okay? And so, now, what is the Texas GOP's response? Well, I already told you. They are going to the Supreme Court. They appealed directly to the massively conservative court. They already knew that this map was vulnerable legally. They knew it would get blocked by a judge. And they're counting on their friends at the Supreme Court to help them steal elections for another decade through their gerrymandering process. And you know what? The court's more than willing to help them do it. I mean, just last month, the High Court's conservative supermajority allowed a gerrymandered congressional map in South Carolina to stand. The same map that a lower court ruled was racially discriminatory for bleaching Black voters from the region. Bleaching is a pretty good explanation or description of that, okay? Because they're making this as white as possible, their electorate, so that they never, ever lose. This was the case Alexander v. South Carolina NAACP. The court ended up siding with Republican lawmakers who claimed that their motivations in drawing the district lines were not, they weren't racist. They were just partisan. Oh, okay. Look, the pattern here is pretty clear. Every time Republicans lose in fair elections, they redraw the maps to try to guarantee their victory. Wisconsin, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, all the same story. Hell, they're looking at doing this in Ohio. Look, when they cannot win votes, then they just change districts. And when the courts stop them, well, they end up appealing to their stacked courts. Look, this isn't about policy debates or a different vision for the country, okay? No, this is about systematic voter suppression, disguised as we're just doing redistricting reform. Right. Okay. Sure. Look, the Republican Party knows that they're pretty unpopular with diverse electorates, which are growing. So, in order to combat that, instead of reaching out and trying to, get these groups to vote for them, they're doubling down on racism and trying to make sure that these voters, that the new voters, the diverse voters, their voices don't count. And when the courts keep catching these Texas Republicans red-handed in doing racial gerrymandering, they keep doing it anyway. I mean, we see exactly what this party thinks about democracy, okay? They appeal to the Supreme Court knowing that they cannot win fair elections. And they create legal chaos in order to maintain their power base. And they treat the Voting Rights Act like it doesn't even exist, because I guess if they had it their way, it wouldn't. This is what authoritarian and undemocratic behavior looks like in America. When you can't win with votes, well, you just end up silencing the voters instead. If this video helped you cut through the BS and see what is really happening, then smash that like button. Every single like pushes back against the right-wing propaganda machine. I can't do this work without your support. So please check out my Patreon. Link is in the description of this video. For a few bucks a month, you can help keep this channel independent from corporate BS. So hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's keep fighting for democracy and against fascism together.